As we try to survive Winter Storm Fern, let's warm up a little bit with a little bit Sun Belt baseball talk. Let's preview the 2026 Sun Belt baseball season, starting with Mike Silva in Arkansas State going into year 2. It's Locked on Sun Belt.
You are Locked on Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked on Sun Belt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Mazda. We put that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment. Putting in the work, that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Mazda moving the game forward. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. All right, I do apologize for being a little bit late, couple of days as it turns out, but we do have at least 4 previews to go through, 3 more on Wednesday as well, so that's 7, that's half the league, and hopefully when we start putting these online and on the internet, we'll get more coaches to come on the show. Let's start it off with Mike Silva of Arkansas State. Did a really good job last year getting Arkansas State to move in the right direction. Started out very slow with some tough out-of-conference teams. Started, they said 3-9. They made a lineup change. They made a position change, and things turned around from there. Also, how are they dealing with the portal and NIL, how to compete in the Sun Belt, and he took advantage, or was planning on taking advantage, of the snow hitting Jonesboro with a little bit of sledding with the family. Let's talk to him. He is in his second year of being the Arkansas State head coach. He's Mike Silva, and he is Locked on Sun Belt. Dave Schultz, Locked on Sun Belt, your team every day. We're continuing to preview the upcoming 2026 college baseball season. We bring in Mike Silva, second-year coach at Arkansas State. Thank you so much for your time, Coach, and congratulations on moving Arkansas State in the right direction. Still basking in the glow a little bit of 2025, or have we moved on?
No, we moved on. I appreciate you. I appreciate having me. We moved on as soon as the season was over. I felt like it was a productive first year and just a lot of work to continue to do to continue to try to grow this program and get it where it can compete year in and year out in the Sun Belt.
When did you realize that it was moving in the right direction? Because I think it got off to a little bit of a slow start, but you turned things around.
Yeah, I would say beyond worse than a slow start. We were 3-9, and I thought that was kind of an advantageous part of our schedule. We'd have to win some games. In all fairness to the players, we didn't get on our field until a week before opening day, and so I didn't really feel like we were prepared. Probably after the 3-9 start, I felt like just the guys continued to work, and the attitude was positive. I was really concerned with you get to 3-9 start, and we'd kind of been struggling here for a bit program-wise before I got here, and the guys in that locker room to be like, oh man, here we go again. But they did a great job of continuing to get better. And we just focused on really just trying to improve every day and play solid baseball. And we really didn't get super focused on we have to win or whatever. And we started to really play well in our league. And this is a hard league to play well in. And I think our players earned some confidence. And then I thought we really just kept that improvement going on through the course of the season. And at the end of the season, I thought we had a pretty solid team.
So was there a game or was there a series where you think the light kind of went on like, oh, these guys kind of get it, and if we can compete like that on a regular basis, we're going to be a tough team to play?
Yeah, it was actually, Coastal, April is honestly when we started to play better baseball. We showed spurts into it, but I really think after we got swept on the road at Jacksonville State, things started to change and we started to do some things better and understood the significance of some of the unforced errors we were making. And offensively, we were just really behind. And I thought the offense continued to improve through the course of the season. And I mean, if you look at the guy that led our team in batting average last year, Ashton Quiller was hitting, I think, .81 at the halfway point of the season. Oh, and, he got hot. And when he started to go, we started to go because we really did pitch the ball pretty consistently from start to finish. We weren't losing games early because we couldn't pitch.
Right.
We were just really having a hard time, scoring runs. And in tight games late, it was almost, you could feel in the dugout, we were figuring out which way we were going to find to lose the game. And instead of just going out and competing and believing we could. And I thought that was a big step in year one, obviously leading into this season.
So where did he finish batting average? Like .81?
He hit 310 or 313.
Oh, goodness.
303. Yeah, he hit over 300.
So he hit 400 over the last 2 months of the season.
And we moved him from the 9-hole. He's always been a really good defender in center field, but he was a freshman. And then we moved him to the leadoff spot. We were able to put a senior who we lost and Will French into the 2-hole. And just he was on base a lot, and he could put pressure on him because he could run and we could do some different things. And I thought it helped everybody up and down the lineup. Obviously them getting up with runner pressure with him at first, and guys were getting better pitches to hit, and we started to have some more success that way.
So obviously that's a big spot. A lot of guys like to have that really good hitter in the 9 hole. So you have 2 leadoff hitters. What was your conversation with him? Because obviously it's a different approach when you're hitting 9th compared to hitting 1st. You need to see a couple of pitches, usually just to let the other guys see some pitches, at least the first at bat. I don't know how that goes for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
so what's the conversation you have to move a guy from 9 to 1?
Yeah, I actually took an opposite approach of that.
Oh.
He was a young kid, and I didn't want him to lose his aggressiveness and his confidence. And I was concerned of him trying to change too many things up as you move him up. He thinks he has to do more. I just wanted him to continue to do what he was doing. And he has a little bit of the clutch gene. He likes to be up there, when it matters. And the tighter the game gets, seems like the better he gets. And you don't know that. You learn that about young players as seasons progress. And, he just did a great job. And so obviously he'll stay in that spot this year moving forward. And he did just a great job for us.
We're talking to Mike Silva, head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves, Lockdown Sunbelt, your team every day. All right, so for a guy who the game did not slow down for, I was a 13th man on a 12-man JV basketball team. So whenever I played, it did not – don't laugh. That ain't funny. Actually, it's hilarious.
It is funny.
It is hilarious. The game never slowed down for me. So can you see when the guys actually get it? Like, obviously he wasn't playing well to begin with. And then, like you said, he's got a clutch gene. So things have to slow down for him as at times get tight.
Yeah, I think when players really start to understand their identity, and it's kind of self-discovery with young players, they get an identity, you see that confidence start to grow. And I think that confidence, provides a roadmap. When you have an identity and confidence, you have some success. And I think that success provides a roadmap for them of basically how important their preparation is for what they need to do every day. And once that happens, the maturity kicks in and you start to see consistency. And so that's where I saw it come across from him. Is there was constant growth. There wasn't results, but you could kind of see it coming along the whole time.
And so how do you take the success of 25 and take that to the next level to, compete in the upper levels of the Sun Belt?
Well, that's a challenge in this league.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
When people talk about momentum a lot from one season to the next, and I don't know how much validity there is to that, because you see teams that are doing great and all of a sudden a year can go sideways, and teams that maybe like us who haven't been great, could we kick the door in and be a contender? And you don't want to put a timetable on that. You just kind of focus on the things you can control. And so this is a whole new season. Everybody starts out fresh in non-conference and conference. And I would like to see us do a better job in our non-conference schedule to help our league RPI. I think that when you're in leagues like this and you see a Troy not get in at the end of the season, you want to do your part too, because it's better for our league across the board. And so we have a more challenging non-conference schedule, but we have to find a way to get off to a better start and win some of those games.
Well, that's a great point, because, about a month out or so, I was saying that Southern Miss was on the bubble getting into the NCAA tournament because they were sitting at the mid-40s. I did not know I was lighting a fire under them as they went on to win 17 in a row. But the problem was they were playing some teams with bad RPIs towards the end of the season. So you can win 2 out of 3, but 2 wins don't help you as much as 1 loss can kill you.
That's right. Yeah, it's challenging. I always say this is the most difficult level of college athletics for that type of stuff, because the margins, so small. I understand the big leagues, it's harder and whatever because of the competition level. And our league is really, really good. Obviously, the best team in our league played for a national title, but the drop off tends to get substantial towards the bottom. And we've been traditionally one of those teams. And so you just want to see that growth across the board for the league and try to navigate that. And it's important for everybody to kind of do their part.
Well, and we're talking with Mike Silva, head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves, Lockdown Sunbelt, your team every day. You've seen that growth here up close and personal over Arkansas State for the last couple of years, right? Butch Jones has gotten the football program heading in the right direction. May not have been as good a season, but went to a bowl game for the 3rd straight year. The basketball team is setting records with wins, and now the baseball team seems to be heading in the right direction. Never mind the perennial bowling squad that the Red Wolves have.
And golf. Our golf team's really good.
Oh, all right. Do you go out there and swing it with the golf team? Do you challenge yourself for that?
I try to. I love interacting with the different coaches. We have great coaches here. They're great people. I really have enjoyed that camaraderie that we have on campus with the head coaches and the assistants. Everybody gets along and is pulling for each other, and that's been really cool. And what basketball's doing and what Coach Jones has done with football, it's tremendous. And you want to join that party as well. And so like we have really good people, but yeah, I like supporting everybody. So if I get a chance to interact with the golf team, you know, I try to. Obviously our schedules are somewhat similar. We're in fall ball and they're in their fall season. And then when we start the spring, they're traveling around playing golf. So, but they do a great job as well.
So you get humbled and go play golf with the head coach over there? And
I'm terrible. I am terrible. I don't get to play enough. It's a big golf community here in Jonesboro. I really enjoy playing. I wish someday, hopefully, if I ever get to retirement and live that long, I would love to play more. But I just enjoy being out there, and it's more about the interaction with the people and connecting with people. And it's been really enjoyable to have some time to do that. Not as much as you might like, obviously, with this craziness of the portal and everything else.
Well, you probably don't have the 4 or 5 hours to go play around the golf,
No.
but there's no reason why you can't go take your frustrations and go hit 30 balls.
That's right. Yeah. And you can sneak 9 holes in here or there,
Sure.
you know, and try to get through. You get about an hour and a half, 2 hours, go play
Right.
a couple holes. And my son kind of likes it now. He's getting to that age. So you try to build in excuses to go out there. But really, for me, it's more so just connecting with our community and the people
Right.
here and sharing, you know, your vision and really listening to theirs and how they want to help us grow this program.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back and continue our conversation with Arkansas State's head baseball coach, Mike Silva. We'll talk about NIL, the portal, and who are some of his returning starters, especially on the mound. We'll do that right after I tell you about Mazda. This is Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who show there's more to the score than what's on the screen. We're going to go with Troy and Victor Valdez hitting some free throws at the end of the ball game against Georgia Southern. Again, Troy is just so hard and so tough to put away, and Georgia Southern almost had him, trailing most of the ball game. They took a lead late, but just could not get it done because Troy hit their free throws at the end of the ball game, a few by Victor Valdez. These remind me of what it really takes to raise the bar. It's that extra work off the court, dialing in every detail, giving that extra fire, that grit, and I never quit. We put in that same passion in every model. Highlights make the reel. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to Mazda because there's more to you. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's continue our conversation with the head coach of the Arkansas State baseball team, Mike Silva, talking about how the Red Wolves are using the portal and who we can expect to be on that mound early in 2026. Talking to Mike Silva, head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves baseball team, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. We're continuing to preview the upcoming 2026 season. All right, how have you dealt with the portal? Right, you're getting into head coaching just as this thing started a few years ago. You've been a head coach, different school, coming up here to Arkansas State. How have you handled the portal and NIL?
Yeah, I think it's just adapting. I've been fortunate that our school continues to invest more resources since I've gotten here in baseball, which has been helpful. I think you run into the issue right now where nobody ever feels like it's enough because it's just uncharted waters. And I feel like you go to bed at night and then you wake up the morning and you're dealing with a whole new set of challenges. So just having the ability to adapt. But really for me, it was more all of our returners that really were significant contributors to us last year. They all came back. And so, you know, I was concerned because we did pitch at a pretty high level. And I was worried that some of those guys, you know, might test the market and they didn't. And so that was a shot in the arm for us. And then, you know, we still bring in some freshmen and we feel like we needed to address a couple of issues. We need to be more physical, more athletic. I thought we could have used some more firepower on the mound. I thought we addressed that. And then we needed to be able to challenge the fence. If you really break down our season, we couldn't really challenge the fence, extra base hits, home runs, stuff like that really do change the game. So we feel like we addressed those issues, but really all of our returners are better players. They all got so much better through the course of the season. They continued that progress into the summer. And so just even watching them right now, early in the spring, and watching them move around and how they're going about their business and their performance and their outcomes are a lot better and their processes are a lot better. So I'm excited because we have older leadership that's kind of been through it. And then we picked up a couple of guys out of the portal on the mound and position player wise. And we feel like, and through the junior college ranks, and we feel like we addressed a lot of the needs that we need to get better at.
So we all hear what we want to hear. When you say physical, it seems like you need to add more pop. And when you say athleticism, we need to add more speed. And you seem to have done that.
Yeah, we feel really, really confident about the issues that we needed to address just to feel like we weren't outmanned. You know, when you start dealing with the upper echelon teams in this league, really across the board in this league, top to bottom, even some teams that are at the bottom of the league, it's really difficult to win games against them. And when you're looking at your team versus other teams, whether it was in conference or out of conference, we just weren't really physical enough and explosive enough or athletic enough. really on the defensive side, I thought we defended the ball at a pretty high level, but on the offensive side, putting really good at bats together, but just not being able to challenge defense and hit extra base hits was an issue for us. And then real stuff on the mound, we feel like we've addressed that. So we're excited about that.
So to take that to the next step, it's how often do you refer to putting crooked numbers on the scoreboard? Because that seems to be the difference in, winning and losing. Do we get one run or do we get those 3 or 4 runs, to give us the momentum and maybe demoralize the other team?
Yeah, well, last year that was the issue, exactly what you just said. Scoring a run for us was a big deal, but you look at most of college baseball games, the team that wins the big innings wins most games. Right. And we had a hard time putting crooked numbers up there. We did it a couple times towards the end of the season. And then if we did get down early, it was really hard for us to come back, to really get those big innings to get back into the game. And so I thought our guys did a really great job of chipping away and trying to find a way. But I think we'll be able to put a few more crooked numbers up there this year, which should help our growth.
All right, and we're talking with Mike Silva, head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. All right, so who are the returners on the mound, and do you already have the weekend rotation set, or we still have competition going on?
Yeah, it's not set, but we got Chase Richter back. With all the NCAA eligibility stuff, that was a challenge, and we got him back at the break. And so
he's less than 30 years old?
Yes, he is. He's not super old. He's 23, 22, and but moving him from the back end, he was a huge part of why we were able to finish games, and we were in a lot of tight games. And now we're going to try to slide him into the rotation. Okay. But really, I'm not sure about the rest of them yet. And here's why. Like last year, we kind of ran it like a Swiss Army knife, managing the game, and it wasn't a pod system, but we depend on 3 or 4 arms. Seems like every game for short bursts. Okay. And so we're deeper, and we have some young players that are going to factor in and could battle to be in the rotation. And some of our older guys, like a Jack Nelson, he started for us last year, but he really took off when we put him in the bullpen. And so he's battling right now to get in the starting rotation, but they're unselfish. So whatever we have to do to win, and that's really a unique thing, especially at this level and time and age of college baseball. Those guys really just, coach, wherever you need me, I'm going to go. And so we're trying to navigate that right now. We lost our best starter last year, Jack Hibbard, to an injury, which is significant. He was our most consistent starter as a freshman. And really, we thought he blew out at Southern Miss, but we thought that going into this year, about that time of the year, he'd be pitching on Friday night for us. But he's going to miss this season, and he'll be back next year. And so his rehab's going well. But just a variety of all the returners. Every pitcher that we had, you got, Jack Nelson, Chase Richter, I got the list right here. You got so many of those guys. Andrew Allen was a freshman that we thought was going to be a really good pitcher. Tyler Weimer, those guys were freshmen last year. They kind of got their sea legs, and they're more physical now too and more confident. You have Cole Turner, Jelly Vanderlei. He's a kid from, the Netherlands. And then we brought in a kid that actually was with me at Nichols, Dylan Farley, a left-handed pitcher. He actually pitched a championship game for us when I was at Nichols. And then NCAA, the rules, he's Division II eligible, but not Division I. And so this year he got his Division I year back. And so we were fortunate enough to get him in here. He's older, he's experienced, he's pitching big games against some Sunbelt teams and had success. And so he'll factor in and potentially be in the rotation as well. But he's also been kind of a Swiss Army knife where you can pitch him in a variety of roles. And we have a lot of left-handed pitchers, and we can give you a lot of different looks, and we have more velocity. We brought in Houston Tomlinson. He was transferred from Texas A&M. And, typical freshman, just didn't get the experience and was looking for an opportunity to get on the mound. And he's got real velocity and real stuff, but he's still in the develomental phases. So I think his future is really exciting, and I do think he'll factor in. Wes Pritchard came in. He's come back off of arm surgery from Mississippi State. I think midway to end of the season, he'll probably factor in more. He's still coming back and working his way into it. Ryan Ashford, a left-handed, low-slot left-hander from the University of Miami. He can do a bunch of things. He can start. He can come out of the bullpen. He can match up against the left-handers. So we have a lot of different looks. Cooper Garrison was one of our most dependable right-handed relievers. He throws from multiple slots. We have him back. All the guys, every guy that pitched significant innings for us last year is back.
Please tell me you made a home visit to go recruit your kid from the Netherlands.
I did not, but I need to get over there at some point because we have 2 of them from the Netherlands. Farley's from the Netherlands as well. And so it's been good for us. Kind of a long flight when the portal season is going on and you're rolling guys through campus. I feel like, 3, 4, 5 every day or every week and trying to put this thing together. But I would love to get over there at some point. I'll go anywhere to recruit players if we can get them here.
Isn't that where Hensley Bam Bam Mullins is from?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think that's to be the case. We're talking with Mike Silva, head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves. All right, so from what I heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're leaning into analytics. Are you looking for 3 or 4 guys to go like 3 innings, 50 pitches, and move on?
Yeah, at times.
Okay.
I don't like to put limitations
Sure.
on what guys can do, but at times, yeah, and you keep them fresh and they go back out there, and I think it's uncomfortable for the hitters to do that. And that's really why we were able to have success last year. We didn't have plus stuff on the mound. We had pitchability guys that did a really good job pounding the strike zone, and they had just enough stuff. And when you kept them in, limited exposure roles, their stuff would play up. And so I think we have better stuff this year. So I think you'll see a little bit more length out of our starters. And maybe once we settle in, we probably won't settle into a consistent rotation until we get into conference play. I take the approach of let's go try to win this game and get to the next one and let the guys develop. Then we get to conference, you try to get your rotation where you feel pretty confident about it. And we'll take that same approach this year. So, but yeah, the guys are trained for it and they're used to it and they're bought into it. And that's a huge thing for us. And hopefully that continues this season.
Yeah, I'm always concerned when you're going up against a bullpen game, right? Everyone's tired. There's a doubleheader, whatever the case is, and one guy's going out there. You get 8-9 guys or whatever it is, 5-6 guys, and you never see a guy twice. And all of a sudden, all you got to do is go throw 20 pitches, and you're out of the game. And you can give max effort, and all of a sudden you realize, it's the 7th inning, and we're in a ball game that these guys weren't necessarily pitching their best player against ours. It's always a concern when you have a bullpen game.
Yeah, it is for sure. The thing that helps is they can go out there and kind of ride that adrenaline, like you said, for those 20 pitches and air it out, knowing they're going to pass that baton on to the next guy. And we have to prepare for it because, a lot of these guys coming out of high school or junior college, they're used to being the starters, and then you're moving them into different roles and trying to communicate to them at a high level. But it's a pretty close group in there. I think we communicate at a high level. I think the young men do a really good job communicating with me about where they're at and how they're feeling and how they're bouncing back and where they're at mentally as well. And we try to adapt and make adaptations to put them. Ultimately, I feel like our job as coaches is just to put the players in the best position to have a chance for success. And, I think that communication is really significant for us. And I feel like that when you talked about the growth, really the season, and I'm going backwards here because it just hit my brain. Our season changed last year when I moved Will French, who was a 4-year starter at shortstop and second base, to first base last year. It changed our whole season. It was kind of a liability for us over there early in the season from the defensive standpoint, and his unselfishness to go and do that. If you go look at our record, the day that we moved him to first, it kind of changed our season.
Okay, so that a bunch of stuff went right there. All right, I want to go back to that communication thing because that is so huge. Because to get players to admit to their head coach, I may need a little bit more time. I'm not feeling great today. They all want to battle. They all want to be given that opportunity. And when a player can be honest with you and say, I may need to go a little bit less today, a pitcher, for example, not necessarily a player, or a regular everyday player, tweak the ankle. I just need today off. That's right. I'll rehab and be ready to go tomorrow. For those players, for young men have issues doing that, right? Major leaguers have problems doing that. So for when kids to do that, that sets a really good relationship with you, and you're able to trust those guys that they're ready to go the next day.
Yeah, I think trust is the pillar of our program. They have to trust me. I have to trust them. And, your job a lot of times is try to protect them from themselves because they're great competitors and they all want to be out there. But once they realize it's not a sign of softness, it's a sign of just like putting them in a position to be successful. Maybe they can't go today and you're going to get more out of them tomorrow and they're going to be able to help the team win. That kind of, it develops some confidence in the communication aspect where, hey, like we're working together to try to get this done together. It's not, I don't want you to if you can't go, I don't want you to feel, right. I don't want you to be afraid to come in and tell me you can't go. I'd rather you tell me and we protect you and then we get you moving forward. And our strength coach and trainer do a great job with the guys here. I'm really fortunate to have Zach Arn and Justin Peral. Justin Peral's our trainer and Zach Arn's our strength coach, just getting those guys prepared. And they have great relationships with the players as well. And then my assistant coaches, Cody Livingston's been with me for 5 years. We were together at Nichols from day one and then here from day one. And he does a great job building relationships with the players and the pitchers. And so they do a great job communicating as well and keep me informed on what's best for our guys.
Let's take one more time out. We'll come back and wrap up our conversation with Arkansas State's Mike Silva. Talks to us about how to compete in the Sun Belt. They got towards the top half of the conference. How do you start competing with the Coastals, the Southern Misses, and the Troys, and maybe even the Raging Cajuns? We'll do that right after I tell you about TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever just to hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take your taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. And don't forget about the Everydayer Club. Thank you for making Locked On Sunbelt your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live Sunbelt sports every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Sunbelt with no interruptions and members only and more for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to lockedonsunbelt.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. That's the Everydayer Club, Locked On Podcast.com/everydayer. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's wrap up our conversation with the head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves, Mike Silva, talking about competing in that Sunbelt. They took one step last year. Can they take the next step this season? And having to deal with a storm in Jonesboro, something you're not expecting to do. He's a little bit concerned about his players, but maybe having a little fun with the family. He is the head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves. He's Mike Silva, and he's Locked On Sunbelt. And then you went all Moneyball on me, moving a middle infielder to first base. How many fungos were hit Will French at first base? Because, again, that is one of the more underrated defensive positions because he can save a lot of the middle infielders. Now he knows what they feel like by, scooping it up out of the dirt, making a diving play, starting, a 3-6-1 or 3-6-3 double play, whatever it is. And yet, some of those plays seem to be routine and they're anything but. How long did it take him to adjust to playing first base? Because that's not a small change.
He's a baseball player. It took him. It was immediate, and it's unbelievable. Like for him to do that, and the unselfishness. And you know what else it did to the team in there? He was the most accomplished player we had in that locker room throughout the course of his career. It sent a message to the team that, hey, everybody's got to do their part, even if it's not the role they want to play. They got to do the best in the role that they're asked to do. And I felt like that's when our team really came together and started to take big steps in the right direction.
Did you see a light go off over his head or something like that? I mean, go from middle infield to first base. I don't think first base is the most difficult position to play, but it is one of the more important positions to play because you can either get out of a jam or, that inning can keep on spiraling out of control.
Yeah, he just took pride in it. I think he looked at it as a tremendous honor that I was asking him, and I thought that much of him. I didn't tell him he had to go there. I called him and we visited, and I asked him, and he said, if you think that's going to give the team the best chance to win, that's all I want to do. I want to help this program get successful. I really want to get back to the conference tournament and have an opportunity to continue to play after the regular season. And he just did it, and he did it at a high level. And when you see a player out there and it looks like they want to be out there, right? Sure. Like it transcends to the whole team and into the dugout. And so that was outstanding from him. And he's gone now, and we can't replace him. And I need some older players that we're probably going to try to move around a little bit this year as well to take that same unselfish approach. Because you really ultimately we're trying to get the best 9 on the field. And by him sliding over there, we were able to do that.
I mean, you got a T-shirt ready to be made. The French effect, the Will French effect. Just put that T-shirt out there. Who's going to step up and play unselfish moving forward? So that's you get all the credit for that. I don't need any payment for a T-shirt or anything like that. We'll just give you all the credit. All right.
That's right.
He's Mike Silva, head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves baseball team. Couple more questions. All right. So as I mentioned throughout with everybody, baseball and softball, for that fact of matter, is the sport that the Sunbelt can compete on a national level. I know JMU was in the college football playoff, but the teams can get multiple. Sunbelt can get multiple teams to play in the NCAA tournament. Coastal Carolina playing for the championship against LSU, Southern Miss, hosted last year. And so that possibility is there. What did you notice how well you guys competed later on in the season? And what do you need to take that next step to compete at the higher levels of the Sunbelt to get you to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think for us, so 2 parts to that, I guess, it was encouraging. The players, they gained confidence and they started feel like they belong. And this league's so good, and I have so much respect for the other coaches and programs in this league, and it's definitely a gauntlet to go through. But for us, it's the little things. I think we have enough talent to compete day in and day out now. But nobody in the locker room's ever won at a really high level at this level. And that's a challenge because winning is a skill. And so just really focus on the little things that it takes no talent to do every single day. And it sounds elementary, but just situational baseball, being lined up right, high level communication, limited damage, and just executing the offense when you have an opportunity. I feel like in college baseball, most games are lost, not won. And just learning how to put your team in a position and just execute when you have opportunities, not try to do too much. I know early in the season last year, everybody was trying to do too much. It wasn't because they weren't working. Practice was good, but when the game started, it was too big for us. And so just make it smaller and kind of make each moment in the game just an individual play. And I think now with young people especially, and it's not their fault, it's just the way of the world, we're all on our phones all the time, just the attention span and be able to stay focused and locked in and what you need to accomplish on that particular pitch is really going to be significant for us this year. And then dealing with adversity. It's going to come, whether you're an older player or younger player, you're going to get challenged, especially in this league. And the coaches are so great at preparing and trying to expose your weaknesses. And there's so many good players. There's going to be ups and downs. And so just managing those swings and just staying really consistent with your preparation. And so I think we've done a better job with that. But we'll see when the season starts here shortly, kind of what that looks like when the live games and the real games start. And
then trying to move up to that next level.
Of course.
Obviously, it's a lot of fun, but it also presents a ton of challenges.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the league. I mean, there's no easy weekends. There's no easy game. Right. There's no coaches that aren't really good at what they do or are extremely prepared. And so it's a gauntlet, but you want to measure yourself up against the best competition if you're a competitor. And like I said, we have so much respect. I have so much respect for the coaches in this league. I mean, just their preparation and going into a game, they're not sleepwalking through this thing. And so they're putting their guys in the best position to be successful. And so that makes your margin when you're managing a game really, really small. And they're ready for every move that you make. And so that's why this league's so good. And then just the investment that a lot of the schools make in baseball here in this league, and we're starting to get up to speed here and starting to make more investments. It gives you access to better players. And also I think it gets the fan base engaged. And so that's the other thing here with taking over this program is there's hope and excitement and a buzz in this community, which probably wasn't here 12 months ago. That's just the truth. Nice. You can feel it in the community. There's excitement. We're having more supporters. We're selling more season tickets. We got more advertising dollars, all the things that matter that I think people on the outside don't look when you're a head coach taking over a program. You're kind of more of the CEO of a company now, and you have to surround yourself with great people. I feel like I've surrounded myself with great coaches. My assistant coaches are outstanding, and they do a great job with the players. And then we feel like we got the right guys in that locker room. I feel like they're unselfish. And so, but yeah, to try to beat the Coastals and the Southern Misses and the Troys and the Old Dominions and the Louisianas and so on and so forth and the Apps. I mean, it's hard. And the JMUs, I know they weren't great last year, but they have a great program up there. And so it's just night in and night out. And you want your players to embrace that, because I think for a lot of teams, it's like you have a bad weekend, it turns into a bad month. Right. And so, we have to be able to manage the good, but you have to really manage it when it's not going good, because it's coming for you in this league at some point. Maybe not for the Southern Misses and not for the Coastals and not for the Troys, but for the rest of us that are and that are trying to get to that level. I think it's coming for you, and especially now with the constant turnover in the preparation, because everybody seems to have somewhat of a new team or a new look every year. And so they just continue to reload. And so it's going to be challenging, but yeah, that's the goal. We want to get to where if we're in the top third of this league, we feel like we'll be competing to get to a regional. And I feel like having done this before somewhere else, once you get to that moment, everything else off the field and the interests of in your program and the dollars and the finances, they continue to grow with your program. And so we want to take another step this year, but you can't lose purpose in the process, and you can't disrespect how difficult it is. And so hopefully we can get there. But like I said, we're going to find out soon. I'm optimistic, and I'm probably as excited for this season as any I've ever been. But I'll be honest, I'm intrigued, just like you are, and just like the people that follow this league are. I'm intrigued to see what we can do. And I feel like our pitching staff is better than it was last year, and I thought we pitched well. But can we have the same type of consistency? We're about to find out here shortly.
Intrigue is a very big word for a Sunbelt podcast host. I'm just saying.
I mean, it is, right? I'm intrigued. People as a coach,
yes.
I'm excited to go see what we look like, and are we as improved as we feel like we are? And then can we sustain some consistency? Can we beat some of the big arms on a Friday night? That was a challenge for us last year. And when we do, can we not be satisfied with it and come back? Because like I said, there's no easy games in this league, and the coaches are so good, and their preparation is so good, and so you have to be. This is Locked On Sunbelt, but you got to be locked in every moment of every game, or it's going to get away from you in a hurry, and then you feel responsible for not putting your players in a position to go out and have success.
Well, we appreciate the coach giving us new promo. That was outstanding. No, but see, the head coach of the baseball team uses intrigue. The lowly host would use interest. So that's why you're the head baseball coach and I'm just the podcast host.
No, interest it's good too.
All right, so hopefully we'll post this here in the next couple of days or two, because this question may not be that timely. But like you mentioned, as we wrap it up, this is you're the CEO, all right, and you're dealing with something as a baseball coach that you're generally not dealing with in Jonesboro. We got a huge winter storm heading your way. It's headed my way here in Louisville. How have you tried to prep these guys that may not be used to it, although maybe the kid from the Netherlands can help these guys out?
Yeah, I mean, I have guys in my locker room that have never seen snow before.
No, right.
And we're not equipped here for this caliber of a storm, I don't think.
I don't know many places that are, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we're trying to get yesterday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were really important days because we were able to get out in the field, and you're always battling weather this time of the year. And so I tell them to control what we can control. It's no different than like when you're coaching a team and you're managing a game and it's intense. Control what you can control, and we might be shut down for a few days. And so I guess as a coach, you're worried about their college kids, and and some of the guys haven't seen snow, and ice and all that stuff. And so you're hoping they don't go out and do something that's going to put them in jeopardy as far as getting back on the field when we get back. So I'm concerned about it, but I can't do anything about it. And so you just adapt to whatever comes your way and try to make the best of it. And for some of these kids, it'll be a cool experience. They've never seen snow before, so they'll check that box.
Yeah, you can have fun with the snow, but when it turns to ice, that's when bones break, unfortunately.
That's right. You know how college kids are. They haven't seen it. They're going to want to get out in it, and I just don't want them to. And I'll tell them that, but I'm probably going to lose that battle, especially for somebody that hasn't been in this weather before.
Well, yes.
They're Please like my son. My son's 11. He'll be 12 tomorrow, and he's pumped. I mean, this kid is pumped for the snow. I'm like, I hope it misses us. But right now, it doesn't look like it's missing us. So it'll be an experience, that's for sure.
Do we have a sled? Do we go sledding? Oh, we do.
We have multiple. We have multiple sleds, and I'm sure I'll be out there huffing and puffing with them because that's just part of being a dad and getting those experiences with him. So I'll try to find some fun in it, and I think our players will do the same.
He's Mike Silva. He's the head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves in year number 2 as the head baseball coach. Thanks so much for your time, Coach. I appreciate you hopping on Locked On Sunbelt. Best of luck this year, and hopefully we'll catch up sometime during the season. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, Dave, I appreciate you. Appreciate the coverage, and always enjoy visiting. Take care, and best of luck this year.